Before I begin, you need to know some things about me. My name is Kirk Downs. I am a 24-year-old male, living in New York and working as a software engineer. Not many interesting things happen in my life. It's just the usual wake, go to work, come back home and sleep routine. Pretty boring, right? Well, something not so boring happened a few days ago, and that's why I'm writing this. A few days ago, while I was leaving for work, I saw a letter sitting on my doorstep. I picked it up and there was no information about where it came from or who sent it. I thought that I would read it after I sat in a taxi to go to my workplace. After doing so, I opened it. There was no name on it either, but the contents of the letter were a little weird. It was labeled as a list of rules on the top. This is what it read. This letter is sent to you because you'll need it. It is of utmost importance that you don't throw this out and follow all the rules written on this paper correctly for the next 7 days, and you might have a chance to make it out. Rule 1. Before going out for work, take 2 rounds around your house. Rule 2. Whatever you do, don't take the first taxi that approaches you, even if the driver says it's free of charge. Rule 3. At exactly 3 p.m., go to the highest floor of whatever building you're in and look out of a window for 5 minutes. Don't respond or react to any voices you may hear. Rule 4. Don't eat or drink anything from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. They could have put something in it. Rule 5. After arriving home, immediately lock all doors and windows so they don't get in. Rule 6. At 10 p.m., turn off all the lights in your house and keep all the blinds open. They have the urge to see inside sometimes. Rule 7. Don't answer any calls from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., no matter who is calling. If the same person calls more than 3 times, answer the call but don't say anything, no matter what the caller is saying. They will get bored after a while. Good luck, adventurer. We hope to not see you on the other side. At first, I thought some kid had decided to play a prank on me, so I didn't pay much mind to it. Getting off of work, the driver said the ride was free of charge. That's weird, I thought. And then I remembered. Rule 2. Whatever you do, don't take the first taxi that approaches you, even if the driver says it's free of charge. What the heck? I pulled out the letter from my bag to confirm that if that was the rule, and it was. Okay, that's a huge coincidence, I told myself. Nothing to be worried about. I said these things to calm myself, but still, I was freaking out a little. I arrived at my desk and started to work. After a while, I forgot about the taxi and the letter. After lunch, I arrived back at my desk and I heard a loud thud from behind me. Everyone in the office looked at the source of the sound, and there was a thing standing there. It was all black in color, and its head nearly touched the ceiling. I watched in horror as it picked up one of my colleagues from the ground and threw him out the window. Everyone started screaming as it started coming towards us. It picked another one of my colleagues and tore her head open, and blood gushed out of it everywhere. I stumbled backwards and ran away from it. I went to the upper floor and I hid in the closet because I figured I couldn't run from it easily, I heard screams and cries for help from the floor below me. I pulled out my phone and tried to call someone, but there was no signal. Then, at one point, everything went quiet. I thought for a second that I was safe, until I heard footsteps. Not human footsteps. That thing was coming near me, coming for me. I put my hand on my mouth, trying not to make any sound. From the gap beneath the door of the closet, I saw a shadow. The shadow of that thing. I almost screamed, but the shadow just disappeared. I stayed in there for a few minutes before coming out, and I didn't see anyone. I slowly went down towards my desk, and I saw everyone. Everyone was there. No blood on desks. No broken window. Even my colleagues that I saw dying were at their desks working. "Hey man, you okay?" My friend Mark asked. Yeah, I'm fine." I sat back on my desk, trying to process what the heck just happened. And that's when my gaze went towards the clock on my computer. 3:16 p.m. Chills went down my entire body. It took some time to get to the closet, and I must have been in there for around 10 minutes. Which means this thing could have come here at... A dreadful realization came over me. 3 p.m. I pulled out the letter and read rule number 3. At exactly 3 p.m., go to the highest floor of whatever building you're in and look out of the window for 5 minutes. Don't respond or react to any voices you might hear. This meant that the thing came here at 3 p.m. That whatever is written in the letter, it's true. The rules are real. Whoever sent this to me knew that this will happen, and it will keep happening for the next week. I couldn't take it. It was too bizarre. I asked my boss for leaving early and came home. This time, I followed the rules and I locked all the doors and windows. I was hungry, but decided not to eat anything till 7 o'clock comes around. After that, nothing really happened. I ate dinner and just chilled until 10 p.m. came. I turned off all the lights and shut the blinds. And then I didn't have anything to do, so I just decided to go to sleep. Around 1 a.m., I was awoken by a thumping sound on my window. I got up to see what was causing it. I opened the blinds and there was nothing there. I was about to open the window but decided not to. And then suddenly, something started banging on the window. I fell backwards on the floor as there was still no one at the window. Or maybe I couldn't see who was there. The window started to crack. Just when it was about to break, the thumping stopped. I got up, drenched in sweat. I knew that whatever happened, it was because I didn't follow the rules when I left for work. I looked at the rules. I didn't follow Rule 1, Rule 2, Rule 3, and Rule 6. Crap. I cursed myself. The blinds had to be open. I rushed through the entire house, opening all the blinds as quickly as I could. After that, I couldn't sleep. I stayed up the entire night until the sun came out. I went outside and examined the window. It had to be removed. I'll do it in a few days, I thought. After that, I ate some food, and I headed for work. Of course, I followed all the rules this time. Took 2 rounds around my house. Didn't take the first taxi. Went to the highest floor in the building, and looked out the window for a little while. But the voices, everyone was screaming in the building, calling me out for help. But I didn't listen. I knew everything would be back to normal in 5 minutes. Basically everything that I had to do, I did. But this night, I got a phone call from an unknown number. Following the last rule, I didn't pick it. It rang another time and then it stopped. The next 2 days went by pretty smoothly. I did everything required and no calls came at night. I was thinking that I'll make it out of this hell soon enough. But on the night of the 5th day, a phone call came again, from an unknown number. It rang once, it rang twice, it rang thrice. This time, I had to pick it up. I answered, and on the other end was my mother. "Kirk, is that you?" she said. It was so sweet hearing her voice again. It took everything I had in me to not speak to her, but I knew it wasn't her. It couldn't be. She had been dead for 14 years. Soon, she stopped speaking, and the call ended. I burst into tears that I was holding back, from the fear that it would hear me. On the 6th day, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to know what was going on, so I denied all the rules. I didn't take round 2 before leaving, and after sitting in the first taxi, I asked the driver who he is, to which he didn't reply. I kept asking him, and at one point, I faded out. When I opened my eyes again, I was standing on the street beside my workplace, and the taxi was nowhere to be seen. I went in and still followed rule number 3. I was too scared to see that thing again. I ate a pizza at 6 p.m., kept all doors and windows open, and didn't turn off any lights at 10 p.m. I knew I would regret it, but I just had to know what was going on, or I might turn crazy. At 1 a.m., the phone from the same number came again. I picked it up on the first ring. "Kirk, are you there?" said my mother's shaky voice. "Mom, is that you?" I asked, eager for an answer. But after that, she didn't speak. I just heard heavy breathing from the other end. I cried while speaking, begging the voice to speak up just one more time. The call cut off after a while. Immediately after, I heard a low voice coming from behind me. It was a black thing hovering over me. I tried screaming, but I couldn't. The thing wrapped itself around me. I couldn't do anything as it suffocated me. I woke up in my bed, breathing heavily. I looked around me for that thing, but it was nowhere. I walked out of the bedroom and out onto the street. It was nowhere. Actually, no one was here. I walked up to my neighbor's house and no one was in their houses. I drove to my friend's house. No one was there either. I came back to my house and tried calling someone, but there was no signal. Suddenly, I hear a low, animal-like sound behind me. I look back, and a creature of some sort attacks me. Thankfully, it was small, so I was able to kick it and get away. But after that, I thought I heard another animal-like sound, and then another, then another. More and more sounds emerged from the darkness. I ran into my bedroom, closed the windows and doors and barricaded them, with whatever I could. It's morning here now, when I'm writing this, and I can still hear the voices. I can still hear those things outside. I figure I've only a few hours left with my phone's battery. Please, if someone sees this, please help me. Please.